pronounce your last name?
Saguinsin.
Saguinsin.
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. Hey guys, Dr. Bill Rankus here with Movement First Physical Therapy, and I'm here with Kim Saguinsin of Warrior Tech OCR, correct? And she has an amazing gym that helps train people with ninja style training as well as obstacle course race training. She gave me a little tour when I first met her, and I was amazed by all of the obstacles and all the things that they have at the gym that I never knew that you could have in a space. So what an awesome thing for people to have in the triangle to train for obstacle course races and ninja. Kim, first I would just love to have you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and your team here, and then maybe get into kind of how all this got started and where you kind of got the idea from.
Well, thank you for the introduction. It was very nice. Yes, we are all crazy here. We opened up a training facility for all things OCR. The real world calls it obstacle course racing. We call it obstacle course readiness, because we're preparing you for obstacles in life, whether that be physical or in your everyday life or mental. We got into this, so there's 3 owners, Carrie, Tim, and I. It's my husband Tim and our partner Carrie. There's 2 lead coaches that we have, Justin and Matt. And the 5 of us are pretty much the heart of the company. So it does not happen by itself. It definitely is a group effort. The 3 of us thought of doing this because there wasn't a place that existed before. Mm-hmm. The idea of OCR being a sport has always been a little seed that has been slowly growing. And in the past couple of years, it's bloomed an awful lot, and it's a lot of different organizations are working towards making that happen. So I'm happy that we have a place that can provide training for that. We do, like you said, have 3 avenues for adults. So we do functional fitness, we do OCR, and we do ninja. Kids, we do mostly just ninja, and they're a pretty easy sell. The show helped us out. So they enjoy watching the show, and then they enjoy being ninjas themselves.
That's cool.
Some kids do it for supplemental with other sports and use this for conditioning. Because it is a sport that requires both sides of the brain, there's a lot of dexterity needed. You have to be very coordinated. It's a lot more core strength. It helps with other sports. In addition, some kids just like it to be their sport, and so we are here for that.
That's awesome. Where did you and your 2 co-owners, where'd you start? Did you start in this facility, or did you start in a smaller place or just kind of outside, or like a club, or did it all kind of start on this?
The original idea of this was to be a lot more like Camp Gladiator,
okay,
and be a boot camp,
mm-hmm,
traveling, and just have a small box truck or pickup with the
mm-hmm,
attachment to it, and just have all of our equipment in there. And then when we realized that this really didn't exist and we could be an answer in the
mm-hmm,
community, we decided to go big or go home.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
This is our first.
Yeah.
We were looking originally in Holly Springs.
Okay.
That's where all of us owners live. But there were no buildings, either Apex or Holly Springs. So we had an incredible realtor, and this place came on the market, and it was perfect for us. It was originally a CrossFit, and they were leaving, so we were able to sneak in.
Yeah.
So this is the original. We did our own construction wads, we called it, when we first opened, because we were bootstrapping it. We didn't really have any money, we weren't in a business yet, so we picked up carpet, laid the floor down ourselves, we painted. We completely cleared out the warehouse and the adjacent room,
wow,
and everything. So we did all of that ourselves. And so it's definitely a labor, yeah, it was a labor of love. Prior to opening, we actually acquired the building but couldn't receive our keys for 6 months. So for 6 months, we had a business but not a location. So we did do our original idea of workshops, and we called them pop-up workshops.
Okay.
And we created a couple obstacles that lived in Tim and I's garage. So we always joke that the company started with our 6-foot wall. and we would wheel the wall out to our front lawn. Our neighbors were totally fine with it. And we would host pop-up workshops.
Cool.
In addition, we would pick a couple parks in the surrounding areas and do workshops there and show what we have. It was very difficult to tell people what we were about when our inside looks so different than a few wooden obstacles.
Right.
So it was hard. We had to do some creative marketing.
Yeah.
Do a lot of education.
Yeah.
And then once we opened, it was obviously a lot easier to say this is what we have, this is who we are.
Yeah. And how long have you been here, and how long did it take to grow to the scale that you have? Because you have the whole gym, but then you have the whole fenced in area.
Yeah, when we negotiated the lease, we negotiated that backyard area.
Okay.
So this was originally, even though this building has a lot of warehouses and they use that for a lay yard in some of the other tenants, this particular section of the building was never used as that. It was always used, back in the day, it was indoor beach volleyball, we learned. And then it became CrossFit, and then it was us. So this was actually never used as a warehouse. That lay yard was never ever used. So it was easy for us to negotiate that. They had no idea why. They were very confused as to why we would want it. Now they get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, super fun. We were able to work that in the lease. We opened our doors at the end of March. We had our first camp at the end of March.
Wow.
Oh.
Whoa. We just had some flickering lights. Is why we both said, "Whoa, we're expecting some storms in Raleigh today."
We might have to close tonight.
Yeah. Hello. Wow. Yeah, we can pause if you need to. All right. So, you'd mentioned that you guys built everything from scratch. You opened in March of 2019.
No, March of 2017.
Awesome.
3 years.
Yeah. And wow, and just steady growth since. Well, two questions I usually like to ask is, what type of community do you provide? And that kind of ties into maybe why you feel like you guys have had success or steady growth in terms of a following of people coming to your gym and being part of your community.
Yeah, community is literally everything for us. So we wanted to provide a community or be part of the community more than a business. So once Tim and I did our very first Spartan race back in 2015, that was a catalyst for us being completely hooked into that concept in that community. And Matt and Justin come from a ninja background, and they've been involved in ninja since before, the show became popular. So that community also, same, very similar with OCR. So for us, it was making sure we provided a place that had that it was community, that you were part of the family. And that's why we have our tagline that it was stay a while, bring a friend, become family. That's important to us. And so everyone here does become that. We're not looking to have the most members that ever existed. We're looking to have the quality members that want this to be a part of their lifestyle. Everything here is lifestyle. So you are a ninja, you are a racer, you are strong. And everybody that comes through this door has a story. They have a purpose and a reason for coming in here. And we want to be part of that journey and that purpose. And so far, I think we have created that. It happens organically, and it happens by being involved. So Tim and I are very, and Carrie is too. She ran our first race with a bunch of members, but we're very involved in our members. So we're very involved with being the ones that are going and doing races, being the ones that are doing ninja, being the ones that are doing competitions. Like, we're out there being a part of that. We take the classes. This is the only way I stay fit. I don't go anyplace else. This is all I do. So my kids are here. Tim and I, as a whole family of 4, that this is where we train. This is what they're involved in. So we're very much practice what we preach.
Yeah.
And I think that has helped to build, who we are in the community. We are very active in going to other ninja gyms, and going to other OCR and seeing people at races, having our tent up and sponsoring races, local ones or even the big Spartan one. Our hometown race is the Fayetteville race every year. And so being present and involved shows too that we are, we're here, we're a part of it. I feel like in this community, in this area of Raleigh, because there's other ninja that has come up and is now here, we had to do a lot of educating. We had to do a lot of explaining who and what ninja is, what is it about. And we do a lot of talking to people about what the sport is and what that means and how you can be a part of the sport. There's a lot of parents that come in here and say like, oh, well, my kids do soccer, you know, well, this is, you know, they just want to do this for fun. Well, absolutely they can, but just so you know, Ninja's a sport just like soccer's a sport, or Ninja can be a supplemental sport, you know, to soccer. Understanding the leagues, explaining the leagues, being involved with the parents as they choose that their child is going to take the path to get very competitive with Ninja, and what does that look like? What does that mean? It's starting now that when we're going to competitions and we're going to other gyms, we are looking like a community. A group of us are going to these competitions and we're competing and everybody knows who we are. And my kids have friends from other gyms that they're seeing out on the circuit. And it's nice. It's a really nice community to see that. And the parents all know each other. The kids know each other. The adults who compete know each other. And it takes a long time to build. You can't just open a place and expect everyone to love each other. So it takes a while, and we've been open for 3 years, and that's been organically taking place in the last 3 years.
Yeah, in that sense, you are almost a team. If it were a team sport, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not necessarily a team sport, but it you guys show up as a team and root each other on as a team.
100%. And when it comes to Ninja or it comes to OCR, it's you against the course.
Right.
Whether that course is grass and mud, and that's your Spartan race or your Bone Frog or your Savage, or it's you against the course, whether it be the obstacles inside in a Ninja course. So you are competing against yourself. You are competing against the course. But absolutely, it's nice to have that team behind you.
Absolutely.
There's an absolute
awesome.
community behind you.
That's awesome. Two things you mentioned. First, you know, you said that you guys get involved in the courses and want to make people feel welcome, but how do you feel like you can translate that from yourselves as the owners and the trainers to the group of people that you have? You know, for example, you know, if you go to another gym, sometimes it's quieter and people aren't, you know, people come, they show up, they do their exercises, they leave. How do you promote that family or that community or that spirit among your members so that it's not just coming to do a workshop, but it's coming to you know, enjoy it and be part of that community as well?
So
what do you guys do specifically for that?
Well, when we opened and when we started, we've always had our kids and our adult classes at the same time. So we make it important that if you're going to drop your kids off, we'll also get a workout too. So we've tried really hard to keep that going, as in, hey, you're sitting here, you know, you're watching your kids, why don't you come join? Cool. The average age that we have for the adult classes is in their 40s. So for being 40 myself and understanding what changes in your body and how it works, you know, we're not spring chickens anymore, sorry, but we're not. So we have community pages on our Facebook that are talking about, well, how do you recover? You know, keeping recovery in mind is super important. And a lot of people that walk in the door just want to go. No, I want to get stronger. I want to build muscle. I want to do that race.
What's stretching?
Right. And it's understanding that when we're hiring coaches to come in and coach, it's imperative to understand what their philosophy is. It's imperative to understand what their focus is when they're coming in here to get somebody stronger. That it's not a sprint. It is absolutely a very long race to get there. And they're seeing us do that. So they're seeing me take rest days.
Right.
They're seeing me decide opting out of this competition or this race, or doing my stretches that I need to do, or doing my training out on the trails outside of here in order to prepare for said race. So watching us and being very transparent. So keeping those communication lines open, whether it be Facebook pages, whether it be meetings that we'll all kind of hang out and talk, or whether it be nights that we have designated for certain sports. So we have an OCR evening, we have a Ninja night, and we make sure that if you're doing those classes, then we're able to socialize, we're able to talk, we're able to share ideas, we're able to collaborate.
That's awesome.
And that kind of helps, I guess, build that a bit.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wonderful. I love it. And then the other thing that kind of you mentioned that reminded me is OCR are they trying to have that as an Olympic sport?
Yes.
Is that going to happen, or is that?
I mean, it's a long process to make that happen. So Joe DeSena, who runs Spartan for obstacle course racing, he has been spearheading that and heading in that direction. He's doing a lot of things that we use the layman term of regulating.
Right.
So he's regulating the distance of races. He's
Right,
regulating
right.
the obstacles in races. Well, we can't regulate the terrain, and we can't regulate exactly every distance of when each obstacle is going to be or the order that they're going to be. There have been steps that he's made to make it more even playing ground, I guess, when you're competing. And then Bob Clark, who runs one of the leagues for Ninja, Ultimate Ninja Athlete Association, UNAA, he has put the bid in towards going to the Olympics.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
It's like a 10-year process,
Yeah,
though.
sure.
So we're not talking this is happening tomorrow, but he has done a lot of the steps necessary through the Olympic Committee to get recognized.
Yeah.
It was a big year last year when Ninja was recognized in the State Games of America.
Cool.
So I was able to be a part of that, and I did the competition for the State Games, and it was a phenomenal experience. You're there with thousands of athletes in all sports. It was held at Liberty University, beautiful campus. They have a lot of amenities for sports. It was quite impressive. And it was neat to see that Ninja was among them, standing shoulder to shoulder with other sports and other athletes, and that was a huge step in that direction. You have to have so many participants from so many countries in order to have that Olympic bid. And so far, UNAA is the only league that does meet those requirements. So to see that these two people ahead of these two arenas are pushing it in that direction, I'm going to do everything I can to facilitate that down here on my level. So
I'm sure you guys probably like it too. I mean, when it comes to, like you're saying, regulation and making it so that you can, you know, I know with rock climbing, when they have competitions, they have a specific wall for that, and that's why each person can be, you know, looked at on the same field. So I'm sure you have to regulate it in that sense. Do you like? I would guess that you probably like that type of.
It is absolutely a hit or miss. Like I'm 50-50 on the fence. I absolutely want it to be recognized as a sport and move forward in the Olympics, but you're right, people get scared of regulation. When we show up at competitions and there are course designers that design some of the most incredible obstacles, the combination of obstacles, that gets your blood pumping. That's fantastic. That's an art. So to be able to create a good course is an art. But if you were to take some of that away because you only have to do certain obstacles,
that makes sense.
That is going to annoy a few people.
That makes sense.
But I think there's ways to do it that will allow you to keep within the confines of regulation and still allow the creativity.
I get what you're saying. You don't want to get. You'd be afraid you'd get bored of the same path, just doing it as fast as you can for the competition.
Correct.
Rather than where, like you said, you when you see a new routine, it's like, oh wow, this is gonna be a blast to try. And
I mean, I was a figure skater growing up, so I had a very unique sport growing up. This is why being a ninja does not surprise anyone. So when I was skating, you know, it's in figure skating, you know, it's in the Olympics, right? You have these 5 jumps to take off from the right foot. You have these 2 jumps to take off from the left foot. You have this one that turns right, this one turns left. That's it. You have a pot you're choosing from. X number of spins that you're choosing from, and those are all you have. Nobody's coming up with it. More rotations, you know, when I did it, it was in the 90s. The double jump was impressive. Now people are doing quads. So I get that the number of spins increased has made it more difficult, but the actual jump itself is already defined. It's been defined for years. So that would be odd if you showed up at a competition and you only had 10 obstacles to choose from. But again, I think there's ways to do that. There's a lot of obstacles that use the exact same movements. You're just changing what the obstacle looks like. You're just changing what direction you're going. So I feel like you could still regulate it and keep the creativity, but not make it so off the wall that it's not following some form of.
Yeah, it almost, you don't want it to not be.
Yeah, I think there's a happy medium.
Very cool.
See it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that was a little spin off there.
No pun intended.
So I think I heard you kind of say that you bring on people from any skill level, from beginner to expert. You know, you say a parent's dropping off their kids, hey, why don't you try it? That would be beginner. Experts may be, you know, yourself or people in who have been to races as well as the higher level competitions. You know, what do you do? What would you say for beginners that you do to ensure success for them?
So that happens a lot. The average person walks in here, adult, not kid. The average adult walks in here and says, "Oh wow, all right, well I need to get fit first and then I'll come back." And I always laugh and say, "Oh, I know a place you could train." I'm like, that's never gonna get old. So that's why for adults we provide a 3-tier program. We're providing them functional fitness in order to help them to be able to transfer to the Ninja or to the OCR. That's huge for us. I respect other forms of fitness that utilize barbells, but for us, it's not so much the competitive aspect of picking up the barbell, it's the foundational aspect of picking up the barbell.
Right.
So getting the muscles strong, getting that foundational strength, it's huge. It's huge here. And whether you're picking up the 10-pound weight or you're picking up the 40-pound weight, we're both picking up weights.
Gotcha.
The goal is to not put them down. The goal is to continue to keep picking
Right.
them up. So I've been doing, weight training, I've been doing fitness for 5-6 years now. I started with a 10-pound weight, but nobody can compare, the beginning of their journey to the middle of mine. So we're very, very cognizant of coaching that and talking about that openly with people. And everyone seems open to it, and those that stick around notice absolute gains. They notice changes in their body, they notice changes in even their mental state, in the willingness to challenge themselves outside these doors. It's huge, and it's absolutely heartwarming to see what changes in people happen when they continue with something. If people come to Ninja Night and they get very overwhelmed, Ninja itself is an extremely humbling sport. Those darn athletes on TV make it look so easy, but it's not easy. It takes a lot of work. But also, you don't want to insult the athletes on TV.
Right.
They've been training for
For a
this.
long
We
time.
heard Flex to Flex. She stood up there right on that platform and she said, "I've been training for this for 5 years." Okay, then don't belittle her training. You're not going to get it when you
Right.
walk in the door, and
Right.
you have to be okay with that.
Right.
There's a joke that we always say, it's just another obstacle. Like, oh, you can't pick up the 10s, you're still on the 8s, it's just another obstacle,
There
wait
you go.
until you can.
I like that. I like that. Well, cool. That's awesome. And then what would you say that you provide the experts that promotes excellence for them?
Absolutely. I mean, our trainers, that's what we look for when they come here. Matt has a degree in this, in kinesiology and understanding, body movement and muscle groups. He's going to be able to give you what you need to sustain you in the class. If there's a beginner or if there's an advanced. Same with Ben. We have another coach, Ben, that comes in. Same with Liz, another coach, Liz. Justin for the kids. They're able to scale everything. So if you're coming in and you're doing a workout, I always say before any OCR class, this is your workout. If you can't do any obstacles, well then you're here to do the obstacles. Great, work on them. If you can do all of them, well you better do them as fast as possible and as clean as possible, and then that's your workout.
Right.
So I'm very clear with making sure that your workout is your time. You chose to take an hour of your day to come here. I want you to get an hour what you want out of your hour that you wanted to get out of your hour, and that's important.
Very good. I like that. I like that a lot. Now, you had mentioned, getting people to build their strength. You had mentioned that you try to educate as much as you can on recovery. And what other things do you guys do to promote wellness or health besides that fitness side of it or the competition prep?
Well, I'm a huge proponent of saying the words, you can't outwork a bad diet. So I'm the one who says that. I'm the one who walks in with my lunchbox every single day filled with food. We are not nutritionists, so I cannot give out nutritional advice. But we do talk about food a lot on our social media, and that allows the avenue of communication with our members. One of our coaches is a nutritionist, so he can give that information, and he does help people out with that. In addition, we work closely with surrounding and ones that we've met, PTs and sports massage therapists.
Awesome.
Because we're huge with that. Again, like I said, the average adult that comes in here is in their 40s. And unfortunately, OCR, whether that be racing or ninja, is very tough on muscles. So a lot of us have seen injuries, and a lot of us have just feel like we should have an injury or we feel older. And need to pay attention to that. So while we don't talk about supplements or push one over the other.
Yeah.
We're huge in self-care. So we do say, and like I said, we work closely with the massage therapists and PTs, and we say, go see them, go talk to them. And if I've been to them, then I will help promote them because I then agree with and what members have been to them. So I know we've heard great things about you.
Oh, thank you.
I know we've heard great things about another PT is a member here and a coach here and somebody else that we work with, and that's who we give the cards out. We
awesome.
say go talk to them, go see them, take care of it.
Right.
So when it comes to good food, because it's important, you can't outwork bad diet.
No, you
really can't.
You really can't.
And when it comes to rest days, if we start to see members too many days in a row, we make sure we tell them. In the classes itself, form is huge.
Good.
We're very big in that and understanding. Do your form correct over lifting the heavier weights.
Right.
So we pay attention to that.
That's pretty important.
Yeah, it's very easy to tweak something. And so I know when we've interviewed to have those coaches come in, that was important to us. It was important to make sure they knew how to address those issues. And especially if people walk in the door with ailments. So it's understanding how to change the workout or adapt it for the ailments that they already had before coming in.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about that, the types of limitations you see a lot, and it sounds like you guys modify the best your trainers know how, or, I think one of the things that bother me most in healthcare is when someone tells a person, oh, it hurts to squat or hurts to jump, just stop jumping, and it's just like, no, we need to figure out what's causing this breakdown or this overstress of an area, and figure out, okay, how can we modify things so that not only you're able to do it, but then you can grow, or find out what's causing it so that you can fix it, and while you still are working on it. Because again, just for someone who loves doing something, to be told, no, don't, you're doing trail running for how many miles? 15? All right, maybe stick to 2. What are you talking about? I definitely love hearing that you guys work with limitations and modifications and all that stuff. And I remember our first conversation, you also mentioned that you guys do have a fairly low number of injuries here. What do you think? Yeah, knock on wood. What would you say is a big proponent of that? Like, how do you feel like you guys have had that success in terms of avoiding?
By keeping those avenues of communication open and talking to people and making them go to people like you and seek out the professional assistance, because I'm not a PT, I'm not a massage therapist, I don't know how to tell you how to fix it. I can tell you how to avoid it in the future with your form, but I can't tell you how to fix it. Right. So it's pushing that professional assistance on people, and also our trainers. So I'm very, very impressed with our trainers.
Awesome.
So all the ones I've mentioned, they are incredible at keeping up with people and watching what they're doing. Ninja is not just throwing your body all over the place and landing and running like a crazy person. There's absolute technique to everything. Absolute technique. And keeping that technique correct and practicing it in that correct environment is what keeps you out of injuries.
Right. Back to what you said about form, big on
Yeah,
form.
it's huge. Even in Ninja, even in OCR, there's ways to go over walls. I'm usually the stickler that tells you to get your elbow off the top of the wall. You have my hands exactly to try to avoid. That's what we're trying to make sure that we avoid. For those that can't get through obstacles, we do have a lot of pads in our facility to help with the landing.
The landing, soft landing.
Super important.
Very
Yeah.
Do you feel like you ever get any pushback in terms of, you said like you have people who want to go, they don't want to take rest. Do you feel like you have pushback with people who may be having a nagging injury, or, they're like, I'm not cutting my weight, how come? And, you ask them, well, what did you eat over the weekend? Oh, I had 2 beers and a pizza. It's like, do you ever have pushback or find trouble with people not wanting the advice from different avenues, or we'll just start with that, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are.
How would you? I guess how would you handle that? Yeah. How do you usually handle that?
I go cry in a corner because they didn't listen to me.
No, of course not.
So yes, we do. We absolutely have members that just don't stop showing up.
Right.
We're like, go home.
Yeah.
I mean, then they get injured.
Right.
And so
Then they
it's
are
that, and that told you so moment. I mean, it's not a lot, but you absolutely do. I mean, adults are very stubborn. I don't know if you know
I know.
that. Adults are very stubborn.
Yeah. I am as well.
Yes. So it gets difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It gets difficult. In addition, there are those people that we tell them, well, if you have a goal, you have to work towards that goal. Well, they don't work towards the goal, and then it's our fault when they can't, accomplish the goal that they set forth.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's our
I
fault.
understand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm the one that can't do your, goal.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we're all human.
Yeah,
So that's the best we can do. But we just continue to talk to them. Yeah.
Just keep up with it.
Yes, exactly. And continue to get more creative with ways of providing the same information or more creative ways.
Right.
Correct, exactly. Or different solutions. Maybe that solution of just talking to them is not going to do it.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to work harder to provide the information for you in a different way.
Yeah, interesting. Cool. I'm curious about that all the time. I love learning how people think and do things. And yeah, that's one of the big things is a lot of times we, myself included, will shuffle our feet when it comes to something we know we need to do, whether it's diet, whether it's an ache that you know is bothering you and you don't, like I should go see someone, but it gets pushed off until it really becomes a problem. And that's really where I try and with my profession, I try to get to people so that in 30 years, if they're 40, in 20 to 25 years, they don't need a knee or hip replacement. They don't need back surgery, because I want them to be having good form, moving well, using all their muscles properly, and avoiding that overstress, overuse, injuries, so that, again, but when it comes to our culture, we want to kind of do things now, we want it now, and it's hard to convince people of that unless they're already aware of it.
Well, and there's two other sides to that too. We have a lot of kids that come through here.
Yeah.
And
I was going to ask you about that.
We're still trying to figure out the effects that Ninja has on young kids' bodies, as they're growing.
Yeah.
Like I said, Ninja, as much as our technique's involved, it is very tough on your body. It's a lot of, jumping and landing and your whole body taking weight. So we make sure in our Ninja classes, as much as adults have functional fitness, Ninja classes for kids do include conditioning. It's super important to keep up that conditioning for kids and to build the muscles in a safe environment. So again, I go back to our coaches, even our kids coaches. You're talking about somebody who has 12 years of experience. So he has that background experience and can apply it into his programming for Ninja. And he's paying attention to that, and we're paying attention to. We are very vocal about telling parents to give their kids breaks and time off, and that's why our membership is set up like that. You can take a month off whenever you need to.
That's awesome.
And that's important because Ninja is year-round. There's many leagues, and they all have different start and ends. So unfortunately, it's almost like a full year of Ninja, depending on the league you're going. But that's not healthy for sports. Sports need a downtime. Kids need a downtime. So we make sure that we're vocal about that, telling the kids to take breaks, and then he's programming that in there.
Right.
On the flip side, or us old folks, we're happy to see that the leagues are starting to incorporate masters divisions with their competitions. So it's not expected somebody who's 40 and 50 and 60 to compete against 20-year-olds anymore. There's still not enough separation to me in the Ninja world. I don't think a 16-year-old and a 38-year-old should be in the same bracket, but we've made steps. The community has made steps. And so having that alleviate when we're heading to a competition and we know we're not competing against a 16-year-old, that makes a huge difference. We're competing against people in the exact same boat as us that are dealing with the same type of recovery. We can't recover in 2 hours. Our bodies have to recover very differently. We can't do Ninja 6 days a week. We have to do, right now I really only do obstacles 1 day a week, and that's purposeful. And then I'm doing the strength training. I'm doing the conditioning the other days to help myself. So if I'm not doing Ninja 4 days a week, like some of these little whippersnappers are doing, I shouldn't be competing against them. So I'm super happy in the opposite world and in the old folks world that they're paying attention to that.
That's good. with the kids, I've worked with kids in therapy before, and attention to details is one of probably the biggest challenges, because they just want to go and have fun and move, and I'm sure when they're exposed to a ninja gym, they're like, all right, let's go. But is your trainer able to kind of get them to do exercises or drills that help build specific strength, so that, like you're saying, you're paying attention to how is it affecting their bodies long term, the stress on their shoulders, their joints, and landing and jumping and pulling and holding. How effective is it in getting that strength for them, so that they are not necessarily putting too much stress on themselves?
Well, when he says jump, they say how high.
Awesome.
So I'm very impressed. He is in charge of that group.
Yeah.
We have 50 plus kids on our competition team. And it's like I tell everybody when they walk in the door, we're all about education. So yes, we have open gym, but we have very limited time for open gym, and that's purposeful. We would prefer you to come in here and take the classes. And our classes are structured. There's 100% structure to them, even the regular classes and the competition team. But to just talk about that competition team, the ones that are doing the most ninja, it is not a free-for-all. It is absolutely 100% a planned program, and months at a time that is paying attention. There's build-up to different movements that you're doing that lead to the harder, more difficult obstacles. A lot of times they're doing conditioning of their body as well as conditioning of steps of an obstacle. So they're not always going in there and doing the whole obstacle every single time. Sometimes it's step 1, 2 of the obstacle. Sometimes it's the preparation for the obstacle. Sometimes it's building the muscles to get to the obstacle. So everything's broken down and everything is planned.
And that's kids and adults.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome that you guys have that, because that's so important, because I feel like, any average Joe who's gonna just try and do it is just gonna try and figure out, okay, how can I mimic this in the gym or in the backyard and just do it over and over until I get good at it. Whereas if you get a strategy and the foundations of it, you're gonna be much more successful and much less likely to have injury or an issue. Do you guys ever have, I know you have kids and then the parents at the same time, do you ever interact them?
Not in the same class.
Yeah, not yet.
For the record, kids are still way more amazing than us adults.
They have so much little bodies.
Yeah. We tend to be in the same space, so we see them, but I always joke with the adults, don't watch the kids.
Yeah, gotcha.
It'll make you cry.
Yeah. And you mentioned one of your trainers is a nutritionist as well. And does he also kind of give you stuff for the webpage or the blog for information for nutrition and stuff like that?
He hasn't. We haven't really dived in that
Yeah.
with him. He just comes 2 days a week. He's our strength coach that comes 2 days a week.
Awesome.
So he'll provide, he'll help and talk, but and I know some of our members have gone to him and paid, for him to sit and go through just different counseling. Find out, get information. But more of the website is just more loose information.
Yeah.
When people are the ones that are sitting there saying, I don't know what to eat for lunch, or how do I get more protein? Those are simple things that we can discuss and talk about. If they want to take it to another level, that's when they're going to discuss with them. If they really want to sit there and count their macros, and some of us do count their macros and pay attention, and then absolutely, us on the website is not going to help you, or us on the Facebook page. We did have somebody that wanted to do one of those shows, the bodybuilding shows.
Okay.
And so she sought him out and had an
Yeah.
entire plan of action.
Wow.
Clearly,
That's nice.
none of us knew how to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of our members that come here, it's just more that on the surface that's going to be able to help them to get the
Stay
most
healthy
out
and
of
get
what,
it. Gotcha.
what
That's
their
good.
goals are.
That's good. And what about mindset in terms of, I think when you're a beginner getting into fitness, the struggle and the soreness and all that stuff can almost feel like failure. Or even if you're not being successful with an obstacle, how do you guys handle some of the mindset stuff and keeping people motivated and keeping people confident with what they're doing, so that they don't feel like, hey, this really isn't for, like, I'm not getting anywhere, this really isn't for me, I'm struggling, I don't, how do you guys handle mindset with your groups?
That's hard
Mhm.
because we have so many different levels. When you show up to a Wednesday night and you've never done it before, Wednesday nights are Ninja night, and you've never done it before, and you see some of these people fly through these obstacles, it can be very tough
Mhm.
to look at a beginner's face and be like, what just happened?
Mhm.
But the person flying through the obstacles has been doing it for
Mhm.
over a year versus them just walking in. So that's why we're very communicative with that.
Right.
And we're very clear in saying that. We help people come and tell them when the right classes are to come and take. We've had a couple people that we discussed with them, hey, let's not do that Ninja quite yet. Let's make that a goal for 2 months from now.
Mhm.
And let's have a plan of action of these strength classes and these
Mhm.
metabolic classes. And you're going to take these. And we're going to wait 2 months, and then we're going to take that, that Ninja class again. And that's worked great for them. And to see their strides now is unbelievable. And it was the right move for them.
Yeah.
And then other people, it's, no, that's all right. I'm going to keep coming, until I get it. Other people walk out the door. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
It
No, I'm just
happens
kidding.
for sure.
Other people, it's when you go home, go sign up for that race.
Right.
Because you're not going to be able to focus
Right.
and get through the next couple months
Right.
unless you know that you've already signed up for that race.
Yeah. Exactly. Like if you want to train for a marathon, but you haven't signed up for a marathon, you're not as motivated
No,
to
the
run
average
that.
person won't show up that
Right.
day.
Right. So
Yeah. It's just different for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody reacts differently.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a big thing that I've seen lately is that or learned about lately is that one of the biggest obstacles is the human mind sometimes.
It is.
And being able to motivate people and keep them focused, so they don't cut that one set or cut that one exercise at the end just because they're feeling like they've had too much, or helping them know what their limits are and helping them know what they can do, and I think is pretty big.
Something that Coach Justin for the kids does that always impresses me. When he's at a competition, we host in-house comps every month. And so kids will do the competition. No matter who gets through the obstacle, if it's the kid that is the lower end of the totem pole when it comes to skill level, or the girl or boy that's the top of the totem pole and absolutely dominates, he will scream for the success of that person equally. And if a kid goes through and touches the next obstacle but falls down, but Coach Justin will know that was that kid's, that was the top.
Right.
It was the best he ever did. He actually touched the next obstacle. He will scream and be so excited.
That's
If a girl comes through or boys come through and they hit the buzzer and literally got a perfect score, he will scream
Right.
loudest because he knows that's the best that they can do.
Yeah.
And we carry that into the adult program too.
Mhm.
Your best is what you're aiming for. And I tell everybody that when you sign up for that race, you know your expectation before you go in. You sign up for that race, you know what your goal is, not what anybody else's goal is. You're there to win your race, not the race. And that's important. And our class is the same way. I'm celebrating if someone gets over the 4-foot
Yeah.
wall or if somebody gets over the 8-foot wall.
Yeah.
The wall size is going to be important for the person who's trying to achieve it,
Mhm.
not the actual size of the wall.
Right.
It's important.
And do you guys do anything to foster that, or how do you make yourselves available to know the people's goals, I guess?
Lots of talking.
Talking.
Right?
Just
I
sounds
know what
like you guys
everyone's
are in
goal
there.
is.
Yeah, you
I
guys-
know what
yeah.
everyone's goal
You're
is.
in there. Yeah, you're
Yes.
in there. Oh,
We
wonderful.
all know each other's.
Now, I recently saw something. About you guys expanding to North Raleigh, right? And I want to know what has fueled that, and where do you guys see yourselves growing going forward?
I don't know what fueled it. We're crazy. That's what fueled it. No, what fueled it is demand, interest, allowing more people to do Ninja and get involved in the sport. It is going to be more focused on just Ninja, so it will not have that obstacle course racing component, and it will be focused on kids, not adults. So the adults in that obstacle course racing will live still here in Mooresville. Yeah. And kids will be here too, but that is going to be more focused on kids.
That's awesome though.
Yeah, I'm excited. North Raleigh is a great area. There's a lot of rooftops. There's a lot of kids. There's year-round schools there, so the need for the camps is great. We get a lot of people that come in here and say, "I wish you guys were fill in the blank." And there's a lot of great places to look at, but we had to do the research that would be the best option for the most amount of people to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's wonderful that you guys are working with kids so much too. You know, we talked a lot about wellness, health, and all that, and I'm pretty, you know, I've always thought that when it comes to, when we're trying to change our country or our community's health situation, you know, you can't talk to the people who are 50, 60 years old and expect them to change. You have to breed it almost. You have to teach the kids when they're, you know, 10, 11, 12 years old, and mold them to understand that fitness is, you know, good for them, fun, nutrition is good and makes you feel good. And if we can kind of grow our children that way, that will help the future of our community and our country and you know, everyone around us. So kudos to you guys for kind of being part of that. That's awesome.
I agree, and it's not all kids fit the mold of the sports that currently exist, the top ones. So my kid was not the soccer, basketball, baseball player. I was a figure skater, case in point. So for my kids to like OCR makes sense to me, and I think it's cool when I can offer that to other parents of an out, like, okay, it's okay if your kid didn't like soccer.
Right.
You know, every parent puts their kid in soccer when they're 5, you know. And not all kids like that. So I think there needs to be an understanding that not all sports are created equal.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of options out there.
Wow.
And,
that's awesome. All right. Last question, I think, or big question. Why should someone choose your gym?
They should choose it because they want to choose it, because it's awesome. No, I'm kidding. They should choose it because of who we are, what we stand for, and if it aligns with who they are and what they stand for. Not everybody wants to come to a place called Warrior Tech. Not everybody wants to come to a place and do, you know, an obstacle course race, and I think that's okay. And I think this is not going to be for everybody. But if it is for you, and if you do have those goals in mind, then you're welcome. You're welcome to come here, and you're welcome to enjoy it. And I'm eager to see what you do with your goals after you come here.
That's awesome. And do you have any other messages to people who want to know about obstacle course racing, or anything that you'd say to them that you'd like them to know?
You're never too old to pick a new goal.
That's cool. I like that.
I did not get involved until racing until I was like 36. And do my first ninja competition until I was almost 40, and that's okay. And it's okay to be different. This is obviously a different type of sport, but paying attention to your body and giving yourself that time and that attention is important. And so however you choose to do it. Take care of your body. Think about it. Think about the longevity. Think about what your goals are, what you want to do. I think it's awesome that my family does this.
That's awesome.
I love that it's, you know, me and my kids. We're all going to be competing in 2 weeks in the World Championships.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I will need it. But I'm excited. I'm excited to go there and to have all 4 of us compete. And I think that's pretty cool that we get to do that as a family.
Yeah. I'll be rooting you on.
Whenever you step out on the start line, whether it's for a race outside or for a course, run your own.
Yeah.
Always run your own.
Wonderful. If people want to get a hold of you, ask you questions about obstacle course racing, about your gym, what's the best way of getting a hold of you?
Email. So our website, there's a link on most of the pages to just email us, and that comes to me. So I'm the human behind the info at where
There you go. Wonderful. Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much. It was awesome to talk to you and learn about your gym, about, you know, all health and wellness surrounding Ninja and obstacle course racing. You've made me want to train with Justin because I want him to cheer me on for doing a push-up or something.
He will. We all will.
And yeah, so it was wonderful, and I hope this helps people kind of get a better understanding of obstacle course racing, Ninja, as well as what it takes to really kind of devote yourself to it. So again, thank you so much for your time and information.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Yep.
Woo!
All right.